Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to click the subscribe button to see more of my simple recipes. Today I'm going to make a very delicious dish, which is rice with vermicelli and chicken on top. First, I'll start preparing the chicken. I'm going to add some oil in a pot and then I'll fry some onions. Once they are lightly brown like that, I'm going to bring in the chicken drumsticks and my spices. Now you can add more spices if you like, but I prefer it this way. Now I'm gonna give those a good mix. Once the chicken is lightly brown, just like that, I'm gonna bring in 3 cups of water. And then I'm gonna cover that to boil very well. Meanwhile, I'm gonna prepare the rice. Here I've added some oil, you can use ghee or butter. Then I will bring in 2 cups of rice and I will add the salt. Mix those together very well. Now here you can add cardamom if you like as well. Then I'm going to bring in 3 cups of water. Stir that very well and then I will cover it. I let it boil hard and then I'll bring the heat to the lowest and let it cook. Meanwhile, I'm going to come back to the soup and remove this excess that comes out on top slowly. Right, so I want to take from the soup a lot. Then I'm going to stir it. Now I have also added a bay leaf with the spices earlier, which I forgot to mention. Also, if you've noticed, I did not add any salt at this point because I want the chicken to cook quickly. Just because the salt will make the cooking process a lot slower. Now I will leave that to boil and I'm going to prepare my vermicelli. I am using some oil and 1 cup of vermicelli here. I'm just mixing it at this point until it is lightly brown. Just like that. As you can see, this is the color that you want. Do not let it go any darker because the taste will be different. So you just have to keep stirring at this point because it will cook really quickly. You don't want it to burn. Now here I'm going to add 1 cup of water. All right, and give it a good stir. Just like that. At this point you can add cardamom to it as well, or rose water. Now once the water has dried, I'm going to test it if it's cooked or not, all right? If it is still not very well cooked, I'm going to add a little bit more water. All right, just like this, and then I'm going to stir it again and let it cook very well. Now, before the water is fully dried, I'm going to also test and see if it's cooked. Now it's cooked here and there's still a bit of water, as you can see. I'm adding the sugar, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and then I'll mix it again. I will leave it a further 2 minutes or less, and that's it. It's fully cooked right now and ready. I'm not letting it to fully dry so it doesn't become lumpy. Now here is the rice. It is very well cooked, as you can see, fluffy, and the smell is amazing. And it's perfectly ready to serve. That's how you want your rice to be. Now I'll move it off the heat and then going back to my soup. Here everything is well cooked. The chicken is cooked and it's perfectly done as well. Now this is the bay leaf that I've added earlier. And I am just checking on the chicken at this point to see if it's cooked, and then everything is ready. I'm going to add the salt and then give it a good mix. Let it boil a little bit, cover it and move it up the heat. Now I'm going to prepare some extra toppings. This is totally optional. Here I'm using barberry, which you can find in the Middle Eastern grocery stores. This is what it looks like. It's almost like pomegranate. It has a bit of a sourish taste. Now the way to prepare it is to fry it in oil. All right, but you have to keep stirring and it will take less than a minute so it doesn't burn. All right, and then here I'm also using almond slices. Also frying them in oil just until they are lightly brown. As you can see, you have to keep stirring so it doesn't burn quickly. Once they are lightly brown like this, I'm going to move them off the heat. Now off to assemble our plate. First I'm adding rice in the base. Like that, I'll add a little bit more. Okay, actually a lot more. And then now I'm going to top it up with the vermicelli. Now the taste of the rice with the sweetness of the vermicelli is super delicious. You should definitely try it if you haven't. Then I'm just going to spread it like that, and then I'm going to bring in my chicken pieces, which you can totally fry as well. Okay, it will also taste really good. And then I'm going to top it up with the barberry. And finally, I will add in the almond pieces on top. Now this adds a lovely crunch to the recipe. You should definitely try this recipe if you haven't, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for watching.